Hello and welcome back to week 2 of my London Marathon training for 2025. I'm just walking across to Escape at Castleford now to meet up with one of the coaches from Carlton Running Community, Chris, because today he's going to be joining me on my Sunday long run. This week we have a 10-mile run planned, which is, as I mentioned, the long run for this week, which has included a rest day and 3 medium-sized runs. So join me in a moment when I get to Chris and we'll talk about marathons and marathon training. Cheers guys, bye.
You're definitely recording this.
Definitely recording. Take 2.
Take 2. Rob the vlog. No photo shoots.
Hello and welcome back. Again. I'll explain later. So we are now about 7 miles, 8 miles into the Sunday long run, second week, which, as I mentioned earlier, is just a mere 10 miles today. Obviously the long run is part of the weekly plan, which includes rest days, which are important, and we'll go through that later, but also steadier, shorter runs, which are easier to fit in during the week, during the day or evening, whenever you can do it. But as I mentioned at the start of the video, I've got somebody running with us now, running with me now. It's Chris, who's one of the coaches from Carlton Running Community. Now Chris is something of a legend within the club because of all the long distance running that he gets involved with. So he's vastly experienced, he's very knowledgeable about marathons and long distance running and training and things like that. So if these videos are no good for you and you are in the vicinity, go and speak to Chris and he'll be happy to give you some advice. So without further introduction, see Chris. Hello Chris.
Morning all.
So you've done a marathon before?
I've done a couple.
How many marathons have you done?
I've done the marathon distance 51 times over 46 events. So that includes 3 doubles and 1 triple of 90 miles in one sitting.
One of those marathons, which has been your favourite marathon and why?
Out of everything in terms of marathon, road running marathons, it has to be London. It is one of the most amazing experiences any runner can have. The atmosphere, support, the occasion is, for most people, a once in a lifetime opportunity because of the difficulty of getting in. Fortunately for me, I will be there for my 5th time this year, raising money again, this time for the British Heart Foundation, in loving memory of my younger sibling who we lost last year to a sudden heart attack.
Okay, that's a very good charity to be running for then. So obviously Chris, you mentioned that you've done 1 or 2 marathons. And these videos are obviously to explain to people the kind of preparation needed for running marathons, what it takes, the trails, the tribulations, but also what you'll get to at the end and what you'll expect at the end. So with that in mind, what's the importance of getting a plan together, a proper plan to prepare for the marathon, for increasing your distance, but also the importance of resting your body as well, allowing your body to rest.
There's two key important factors. One, as you mentioned, is the physical training plan. There is a multitude of plans available through magazines, the internet, but you've got to find what's right for you to build your strength, your endurance, your core strength, your distance, your aerobic fitness, from where you're starting to get up to that distance prior to London. But also, as part of that physical training plan, is the recovery, is the stretching afterwards, to make sure you look after your body. One of the most important things. Secondly, along with the physical plan, is the mental plan. Running to me is 75% mental. Everyone is born to run. It's the most natural sport our bodies can do. Yet we have to make our minds believe we can do it. So whatever reason we have for that, have it in your head when training and thinking about that finish line. Because one thing about that marathon finish line in London, which Rob will experience, as a grown man, it will make him bawl his eyes out.
We'll see, I'm sure.
Fiver says you're in tears by the time you hit the mile.
I'll probably be in tears at the start line. But you guys, if you watch the video, you'll more than likely see, because I'm going to include that video so you can experience the day as well and see, like you see, the emotions that I'll more than likely go through.
Slight tip for London, take some dark sunglasses so you can't be seen crying at the finish line.
Other than that tip, what's the one best tip that you would give to somebody who's looking to train for a marathon?
To train or to run in a marathon is to go in, to actually to run it, it's to enjoy it. Enjoy the day, enjoy the experience. Don't get carried away with the excitement. Don't get carried away with people trying to run off quicker than you are. Stick to your plan. Stick to what you know, what you've been training for, and have that in mind. Is the biggest tip there. For your training, the biggest tip here will be, you are going to have bad days. You're going to have days when you doubt your own ability to do it. You go out, you get cramp, dehydration, you hate it. You've got to get up and do it again. And then straight away, because we all have bad training days.
I think that's important what Chris has said there. Yes, we all know, and we're explaining to you now, the importance of having a training plan and working to that training plan. But we all have our day-to-day lives as well, family commitments, work commitments. So it's important to remember that yes, you are working to a plan. But like Chris said, you're gonna get days when you're ill. You're gonna get days when you can't fit it in. But because you're working to that plan, because you're building your fitness, and because you've got an end goal, missing the odd run here and there, in the grand scheme of things, is not going to make too much difference. And I think, like Chris said, it's important to enjoy it as well. Because from my perspective, I've watched London Marathon since I was a kid. I absolutely love London Marathon. And I have entered the ballot so many times to try and get in. And so many times I've had the rejection email. It's not nice. And thankfully this year I managed to get another "sorry you're not in" ballot place from the official London ballot. But thankfully Carlton Community Running Club, Carlton Running Community, have their own ballot, and I won that ballot place. So I'm looking forward to it.
I'd just echo what you said there about enjoying it and make the most of it. People train for marathons with a time in their mind, and we train religiously for that time in our minds. Sometimes on the day that time may not happen. for whatever reason, congestion, you can't get around people, someone falls in front of you, you stop for a drink, you drop something, and you may miss your target time by 10 or 30 seconds. Don't beat yourself up. Remember what you've achieved. Remember what you've come from and what you've done. And the vast glory of standing of being one of the tiny few people, tiny percentage of people who have the privilege of doing it. There's no point living on regrets. Look back on what you've done and be proud of yourself.
I'll echo that, guys. So thank you for joining me again this week. We'll be back on next week. I might try and get a video out during the week at one of the club runs, and we'll try and speak to some of the runners there. See you later, guys. Have fun. Bye from Chris.
Ta-ta.
Bye from me.